take a little time off. You make mistakes. Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
You know,
Yo, bro.
I zigged when I should have zagged on the hotkeys, and we had a bad time, man. That's unlucky.
The good thing I wasn't picking my nose or something.
We'll be right back.
What's going on, dude? Welcome.
Shout out to Dr. Phil, bro. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just said pre-podcast. I'm feeling good. 3 days strong in the gym.
Woo!
Really, that's not an accomplishment for me in my past life, but it is now.
Baby steps.
Listen, man. You gotta... Consistency is king. And sometimes you fall off the wagon. And all you can do is try and get back on faster than you did the last time you fell off the wagon.
Yeah,
That's
but you ever
improvement,
fall?
bro.
You ever fall off the wagon and then you get up and that wagon is like deep?
That wagon's
you
6
just-
football fields away.
Yeah, dude. And you just are like, how
I'm not
how
catching
am I
that
gonna get
bitch.
back to that wagon? That wagon is deep, dude. I'm just
We
gonna
need to
wait
learn
here
how to
for the
build a
next
new
wagon,
wagon.
actually.
Start
There's
building your
got to
own
be
wagon.
another one coming.
Yeah,
Hold
dude.
on.
Oh man, that's how it's been. That's how it's felt.
No, I've
but
never done that.
I'm back, and I want to be back for the right reasons. I don't need a end goal. I just need to do it. I need to create without purpose. I need to produce without purpose.
It's
Just do it because I got to.
You know, I think that's why the mindset of like the purpose or the reason or the end goal, whatever gets me there is just the fact that I feel like shit if I don't. It's really all it takes. It's
Yeah.
like I know that it is going to impact everything in my life negatively if I don't get there. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be there. Like that makes it an easy decision for me.
You know what's exciting? Actually, we should have another intro workout conversation next week.
Okay.
Because if we do get this special guest next week, which
he's a little special guest.
we're pulling for
Awesome
it.
geezer.
His actually the first thing he was a part of is actually a workout VR collab. That's
Cool.
what he exited from. That was like huge.
That's neat.
Yeah, so he shares a lot of the same stuff that we're into. It's gonna be exciting. What else is exciting coming up this week? Maybe not for me because I'm not a sports guy, but
Ooh, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
That's
Who's
nice.
who's in it?
It would be the 49ers and the Chiefs. And to be honest with you, if a blimp hit the stadium and neither team was able to complete the game and that was the end of the game, I'd be fine with it.
It's a little toxic rooting for Hindenburg
kind of messed
2.0, but you know what? Listen, as someone who wanted the other two teams in the championship game, I get it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Who
definitely
were
get it.
those?
Lions
Would
and
have
the
been
Ravens.
Detroit and Ravens, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you like dragons or lions?
no comment. Feel free to answer in the comments down below, those of you guys tuned in. Feel free.
Well,
We'll get you on the main account.
the Super Bowl is exciting to watch, even for not like sports guys, because everyone else
It's
is
an
hyped
event.
about it. Yeah.
It's an
Get to
event.
eat
It's a
some
global
wings.
event. It's fun for
Yeah.
that reason. I will-
Especially when you get a good game.
Yeah, good
know,
games are
no-
great. Most of the time, I don't think they are. Most of the time, I think the Super Bowl matchup feels bad, which is unfortunate. I think this is going to be a tight game, personally, which I'm excited for. I also think that the marketing that has happened over the last few years has been pretty soft. I don't know, man. Like,
Mhm.
Oh, like the commercials.
yeah,
in the
make
Sup-
the commercials
Yeah.
great
Be
again,
so
bro.
good.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You
I
ever
don't-
see
I don't
that
get it.
that it might have been Bud Light. They had this commercial, and if not, I feel bad that I'm giving them this free press.
Mhm.
They had this commercial where there's skydivers in a plane, and the guy's like looking out, he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And the instructor pulls out a case, a 6-pack. It's like, would you do it for a case of Bud Light? Tosses it out the
Eats it,
plane,
yeah.
and then the pilot comes by and just dives out, no parachute.
So good.
There's been some bangers, dude. My two favorites ever were the Walmart I shipped my pants.
Yep. Very
You
good.
remember that one?
Yep.
That one was amazing. And then there's one where I don't even remember what it was for, but like a doctor uses like the shock paddles to kill a fly, right? And
Okay.
like the family walks in and all they see is like him shock. They think he's shocking their dad, but he shocks the fly and he goes, "That finished him."
I don't.
They still think
Yeah,
he's shocking the dad.
They just think he's like killing their dad.
Yeah, the ones that are
Oh,
more
man.
unhinged are definitely more fun for me. The more unhinged, the better, which is why my all-time favorite is Puppy Monkey Baby. Puppy
I don't get it. I don't
Monkey.
get you, dude.
Baby. Puppy Monkey Baby. What do you
You
mean
know,
you don't get it? How do you not
I don't
get me
no,
at this
I get
point?
it. I get it, but I expect you to be above that, you know?
In
But you
what
can't help
world have I
psychology.
given you that notion that I would be above Puppy Monkey Baby? I feel like if anything, I've driven that point home over the last however many years.
You were a Disney kid.
What does that have to do with anything, man?
Your palate is
Questionable?
normal. Normal.
Well, you think that Puppy Monkey Baby is made for the masses?
It is made for the masses.
I highly disagree. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that the
no,
vast
because
majority
marketing-
of people who tuned into that were like, "What is this? Get
Correct.
it off of my screen."
No, not the second part.
Nah.
What is this? And now you still remember Puppy Monkey Baby. All of the weirdest ads are done on purpose to tap into people like you.
People like
It's also it's memorable though, isn't
Hey,
it? Like, even if
That's the point.
weird is
offended.
memorable.
That's why. There's a bunch like that. One of the most successful commercials is like paper art style, and it's like different body parts creating one person, and he's like narrating the commercial, and everyone's like, "What the frig is that? Like, that's so weird." And it was a very successful ad. I forget exactly which ad it was. Maybe some of the listeners can figure out, but they do that on purpose because you're supposed to. That's the same reason why when I was doing Markstrom's thumbnails, sometimes I would give him 6 fingers or big eyes or a big head. You want weird stuff because people look at it longer.
You see that? If I have any chat tuned in right now, note that Slum said he had to go out of his way to give me a big head. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for slipping that one in there.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I think we're having too good of a time right now.
No such
Do you
thing.
think you want to switch to something a little more angry?
Yeah, we can spin it. Abe?
Roll the clip.
All right. What are
Did
they
you hit
angry
the
about,
right-
Abe?
Did you hit the right hotkey that time?
You're damn right I did. I don't mess that one up.
So this one, this is a little. They're usually it's what's they're angry about this week. I'm going back a couple weeks for this one because we didn't get a chance to talk about it due to the baby vacation. But this is comes back to a little company known as Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you want to call, whatever you want to say.
Mm.
But they released a premium subscription plan. So there's a classic and a premium subscription plan where it's basically like your Xbox Game Pass, something like that, but strictly for their titles. And their goal with this is
Before you
essentially.
continue, can you remind me the last time they made a good title? I'm just throwing that.
Ubisoft.
It depends on how much you like the republished
37th
shell of Assassin's
installment
Creed.
Of Assassin's Creed, yeah.
What about Rainbow Six?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
probably
made
their,
Siege.
their
Is that
most-
Ubisoft?
yeah.
Mhm.
Siege is Ubisoft. Yeah. Ubisoft.
Okay. I
So-
remember I used to play a game that was Ubisoft, and I haven't played games since I was like young, maybe
You played
GameCube.
Vegas. Probably.
Vegas was
probably-
fire.
Mhm.
Was that Ubisoft?
It's Rainbow
Yeah,
Six.
all the
yeah.
Rainbow Six titles. are
Okay.
Ubisoft.
All right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then they're
Uh,
forever cemented for me.
Wow.
So,
So they can put out 15 years of garbage?
but yeah, they're
just
putting their
asking.
catalog
That's a
out for a
legitimate
subscription.
I'm just asking.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. This is all good because this is all feeding into it. So that's their goal is to create the subscription type service for their titles. Now they're basically discussing this like how Netflix and things came in to disrupt the movie industry. Where you used to buy CDs and then DVDs, and now all the content's kind of consumed digitally through those services.
Mhm.
So in introducing this, this is kind of, I'll read their description of why they're taking this route. And that is one of the things we saw is that gamers are used to a little bit like DVDs having their own games. That consumer shift needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their DVD or CD collection, and that's a transformation that's a bit slower to happen in games. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your games.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Correct. So their whole angle is basically that you don't own the games. You could play them when you pay us for your subscription, but we own the games. So your progress, your achievements, everything you've done in game, that's not what you own. You just own access to it.
Question.
But
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you.
No, you go ahead.
No, you.
This is well.
All right,
I'm just
go.
a quick
I got him.
Just a quick comment. Like I feel like Markstrom's into the gaming subscriptions. You always give praise to
Tons of
Xbox.
praise. Xbox Game Pass, greatest value in gaming by a long shot. And that was before all of these collaborative acquisitions that Microsoft has made and collaborative partnerships that are really meaningful, like the one with Riot. I get tons of value out of my Xbox Game Pass. Shout out Xbox. They full disclosure, they do send me a year-long subscription every year for free. But
wait a minute,
yeah,
what?
They do every year. They hook it up. I get a free year of Xbox Game Pass because
So
me
it's
as a
not a
creator,
free
they know I'm gonna
year.
use it.
It just goes for it's free forever because it's every year.
That is correct.
So you're paid off, dude. You're the op.
I am disclosing that because before they did that, well before they did that, I was singing from the rooftops how good of a value it is. Yes,
You were.
yeah.
And I actually agree. I've seen the games on there, and it's fire.
And honestly, like if I had, a couple of kids that were gaming age, right? Liam's not quite there yet. I think that the value play is you buy an Xbox and you get Xbox Game Pass and they can play whatever they want on it. You end up spending so much less money, bro. Like instead of $60 a pop for all for your kids that have different tastes and want to try different things, and for you to play new games, because there's tons of games that come out on that I'm like, oh, I don't have to buy this, bro. Holy.
When your children, when your offspring are of gaming age, are you going to do console first to get them in?
Not only am I doing console first, I'm starting them in the order of console release.
What?
Oh, start them on Atari?
I'm putting them on the NES, then the Sega Genesis, then the N64.
That's commendable. I like that.
Listen,
and here's the thing. Here's the next question. If you are in the future when you're doing weller and you're grinding and you're making a good living and you can afford more than one system, are they getting one system or are they getting their own?
Oh, you mean like so if I have
sharing systems
two kids,
or not?
Yes, absolutely sharing. You will have the 1 hour that me and my brother you will take shifts just like I did. 100%, man. That's important stuff. There's a lot of lessons being learned there during that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
I think you're really circumventing a lot of important stuff if you just buy them each their own. Yeah. Listen, I'll keep it a bean, bro. I mean, listen, first-time parent, I got a lot to experience, and I'm sure that my perspective will shift greatly throughout the process. I understand that, you may have one preconceived notion and, you get to a certain point and you're like, well, I don't think that. I don't believe that anymore. Bro, as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm the guy that my kid's not getting a smartphone.
Until when?
They can buy it themselves or something, dude. To a certain point. I think that once you're in high school, I think that it makes sense for a lot of reasons due to the nature of functionality of smartphones these days.
Sure.
For the access of information, right?
Okay.
Before that,
what are they getting then? Because you got to communicate.
There's nothing wrong with a flip phone, bro. In middle school, there ain't nothing wrong with a flip phone.
It doesn't even have to be a flip phone, just not
yeah, I say
internet,
that as
all that apps.
I say that as a, cultural placeholder.
Yes.
Or for basic bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
let them rock it, bro. That listen, it's absurd. Like it just absolutely makes no sense. It doesn't provide any real advantages. The only thing that they need is to be able to communicate. They have a computer at home.
I don't know.
When they're in school, I want pay attention. What are you on? Your phone for?
I get what you're saying, and I like that. However, is there a certain point that you may be holding them back from their future?
No. If they have a genuine interest in something along the lines of creation,
yeah,
I'll foster that just like anything else, and you know, buy the tech that's required to let them chase that if they show a genuine interest. And like, I think that's important. And it's funny, I watched a thing literally today about like so many parents just instantly crush their kids' dreams immediately and just put them on the path that they want them on, bro. It's rough,
dude.
And it happens.
I'm scared. I'm scared because Trisha even says this to me. She's like, look, you always try to push me and I love it. And sometimes you got to realize I want this and my brain doesn't work like yours. And I don't want that pressure or that stress or that risk. You function however you want to, and I'll support you. I want you to do the same. And she's like, when our kids come, yeah, we can push them and lean them in certain directions, but there might be days that come where they say, I want to do this path and I'm really passionate about it. And you might have to hold your tongue and support them. And I'm like, shit.
I think the key is that they do something, because my mom and dad didn't have push us in any particular direction. I think this is something they did very well as parents, but you weren't allowed to do nothing. Like in the summers, right? If you had a sport you were playing, you wanted to do camps for the sport. Okay, great. When we were old enough to start working, if you had a job, you could, and you did it in the summer. Okay, great. What you couldn't do was nothing and sit around the house.
Yeah.
So engaging in something is bettering yourself in some way and learning more skills. That's okay. We don't care what it is.
Right. Unless it's crystal meth.
It's got to be, it has to exist. Yeah, crystal meth is not a good hobby.
Not a great hobby.
Now you learn how to cook it.
I think,
you know,
that's chemistry, baby. You know, I think I have one non-negotiable.
Okay.
And that's mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But what happens if they give it as much as you want them to give it and they don't want it?
They're welcome. Because
you know, there's that arc. Like there's I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But just reach up here and you might actually love it. And then they reach up there and they say, dude, I really don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah. So I went through that with
I'm sure
with Taekwondo specifically, because like I was also doing jiu-jitsu and Krav and had the recognition like, oh, this stuff is way more for me. But I was just I think I was just about to get my black belt and like my first POOM or whatever it's called, like a probationary black belt. And
is that the one Steven Seagal gives you, or
no? This one actually involves mixed martial arts.
Okay.
I'm so thankful that my parents were like, nah, you're gonna get this and then you can make a decision. And once I did, I kind of had like a breakthrough in my like personal ability and became infinitely more rewarding for me, because I was just like, oh, holy shit, I'm nice now. And this becomes way more fun because I can really start to like push the limits of like what people are capable of in this art form, right? Because that's ultimately what Taekwondo is at the end of the day.
So you're saying you hit that, you pushed to where they wanted you to push to, and you decided I'm staying.
Right. What
happens if it doesn't go that way? Are you still going to push?
No, I think there's a reasonable limit.
Okay.
Right. And I think I'm thankful that I was forced to get to like a meaningful plateau and then allowed to make a decision. Right. So it was like a nice mix between discipline and freedom. And really, it doesn't, like, I don't even care. Like, there's enough meaningful mixed martial arts out there and enough schools to, like, there's a match somewhere for my child at some point that feels good, that they enjoy the process of. But as long as it's one of the schools that, like, really, see, like, to me, I'm not a big religious guy. But like mixed martial arts is like, I look at it in a way that a lot of people look at religion, in the sense that it provides a ideal framework or like moral foundation
Yeah.
for the way that you live your life and the way that you treat other people. And that was like really crucial for me. And I think people need that in one way, shape, or form, right? And I don't think it personally matters where you get that from, as long as like you have that. And I think that's the best way to impart that upon someone. So that's where I'm at, man.
I think that's great, dude. Before we spend the rest of this hour and a half talking about our future family, which I love these conversations, by the way. We talk about this all the time off the podcast. Abe, you want to throw anything else in there before we go to the next thing?
Well, yeah, I'll just, to wrap this one up, basically everyone's just pissed that Ubisoft's trying to tell them to distance themselves from the fact that they own their games.
Ubisoft is a bunch of out of touch dipsticks that don't make good games and don't want you to own the games that they do make at this point. It's a terrible model. It doesn't make any sense. They're literally comparing their form of media, which if they made good games would actually have infinite replayability, right? Or like make you want to go back and spend a lot of time. And they're comparing that to something like movies, which, let's be honest, the rewatchability of a lot of films isn't there in general. And, it's 2 hours of content to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not even close to the same. And no one cares about owning their own music, because you can access it anytime, any place, anywhere.
Unless
it
the
doesn't
grid
matter
goes
if
down.
you own it or not. Unless what?
Unless the grid goes down.
I'll worry about the grid when the grid presents a problem.
You got your vest, dude?
What?
You got your vest? You
Listen,
ready?
I don't have a bunker, bro. I don't have,
Yeah, me neither.
I've seen your bunker. Your bunker goes crazy, bro. So I don't know, man. It's just like they're super out of touch. And this is just like this actually reminds me very much so of Unity and their bullshit. It's just like whatever way they can try to figure out ways to like finagle and nickel and dime the consumer that they've already done dirty for so long. Incredibly frustrating. And yeah, I will always be more than happy to call out the bullshit in this industry because it's plentiful.
I will agree with them on one thing, and that's that I don't want to own an Ubisoft game ever again. So
that's so unfortunate, man. Rainbow Six Vegas was the game that got me into actually liking playing console games. Like I liked GameCube. I came up on GameCube. And then my brother, I used to watch him play Rainbow Six all the time. And then I would ask him, can I play on your Xbox, please? Please. And my brother, you know how much that took me to like get him to let me play on his Xbox? And that game, dude. And then I put a little marker on the middle of my screen and I was wrecking people, dude.
So funny, man. I dot screens.
I loved that game, dude. So it's sad that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of people had that experience. It was a gateway game for sure, because it was one of the first great multiplayer online console experiences, and people were like, "Oh snap, this is nuts! I could spend a lifetime doing this." I hear you, bro.
Well,
R.I.P.
It is what it is. We'll check back in on him. What else we got, Abe?
All right, so we actually had a pretty cool release that happened this past week after we released our podcast, and that is the worldwide release of the Apple Vision Pro. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, kind of talk about what it means and what it does, show some concepts of what you can do with it. I think it's a pretty cool concept and a pretty cool product. I know there's a lot of Apple hate out there, and
I'm only making a face for one reason, bro. And because I'm looking at the notes for today's podcast, and I'm looking at the price tag on this thing.
Yeah.
Wait, before we get into it, Abe, can you pull up a nice product picture and we'll just have that as third cam?
Yeah, well, I'll get what it looks like.
Yeah, let's keep that up, dude. Let's talk about it as we look at it, dude.
We can look at their actual, somebody wearing it on their actual site.
On their actual site
as hell when you look at it on their site, but
look at that.
So essentially, it's like it's a spatial computer, basically. So spatial computing. So the idea is, like Google Glass and some of the things you might have heard of, you wear these goggles. On the screen of the goggles, it projects things like different applications, web browsers, media, things like that. And you can actually interact with it using motions of your hands to, type on social media, scroll through a video, go to the next video, things like that. So it turns wherever you are into essentially a virtual screen.
Okay.
And you can do some pretty cool stuff with it, I will say.
I think the biggest thing, and we'll probably talk about this, when you tether it to your MacBook or your Mac, it's just an external. It's using the power of your computer now, and you can do everything that you're doing on your computer, but you can put it in places. And I'm gonna be honest, dude, I was a hater, but
I've seen some videos that look really cool. The two biggest
let me
things
show you this
for
one.
me. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is someone who, and as someone who, we talked about the big game this weekend, and a sports fan, this is someone who uses it to overlay multiple NBA games at the same time with his social media. And I'm going to keep the volume off because this guy sounds like an idiot when he's talking. But,
Wow.
So he's got
go ahead.
So
Abe,
multiple
you
games
can
in
go.
front of him.
He's got
He's
one
on the right, he's got
gigantic one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you keep going. Sorry about that again.
No, you're good. He could scroll through those games. On the right, he's got Twitter, so he's interacting with different people on Twitter or X, I guess is what it's
And
technically
when we
called now.
say games, he's watching 5 basketball games at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
One
got the
big
scores
one,
up on the
two
left
small
on the
ones.
ESPN screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, as someone who dabbles a little bit in sports betting too, like this setup to be able to watch multiple games at the same time, be able to see and comment on Twitter. He's also doing this while he's eating a sandwich in the video too. So he's showing you how easy it is to interact with this and still do your everyday stuff.
He didn't take a bite, dude, because you know why? You lose vision of that sandwich when it gets a little close to your mouth. So he definitely didn't take a bite of that sandwich.
Do you need to personally eyeball the sandwich into your mouth as like a landing zone, or do you have the spatial?
You don't, but you see the peripherals and you can. When you have a multi-layered sandwich, that extra inch of peripheral is huge for you. Don't make it seem like I'm crazy for that. That bun is probably hitting the upper lip like this if you can't see that.
You're
That was a
saying it's a
multi-layered
coordination issue or like a thick boy sandwich issue?
Thick boy sandwich issue.
Okay,
if
all
you're
right.
eating a freaking hot dog or a whatever, something easy, right in, one bite.
I'm just saying that you got action on a couple games while you're doing all that and you're eating. You're watching on the actual stat lines on the left so you can see individual scores and track like all your different bets and stuff that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really, really cool thing. And that's just one application of this
Right.
that I thought was pretty interesting.
This is an Apple product. Like it appeals to the Apple people. You're aware of the ecosystem that Apple has.
Of course it does. It's $3,500.
Yeah, exactly.
They're bricked up.
Wait,
Yeah.
I thought it was 25.
It's $3,500.
Oh shit! I gotta refund that.
Untethered battery pack. That's another $200. So
Yeah,
cue the add-ons.
$3,700.
Cue the Apple add-ons as
the
normal.
dongle.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it probably charges with the lightning charger.
I was
and
gonna
they didn't
say,
put it on
and an Apple.
No, it probably has his own charger.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I was
true.
gonna. Yeah, its own
Yeah.
standalone charger in your
Vision
house.
charger.
Yep.
What do we have any other videos on this?
Well, I do have one that's a little funny.
Okay, what do we got?
Because as usual, when a new product like this comes out, people tend to push their usage of it to the absolute max.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, what I have, and I'll pull it over here, is that people started wearing them while they were in their Teslas in self-drive mode.
Oh.
And they were
That's
actually, as they were driving, they were actually like interacting with screens and stuff as the car is driving.
That guy looks like a
this
Vision
trend
Pro
has not
Tesla
gone
driver.
well, as you'll see in a second, because that's highly illegal to do that.
Is it though?
So this particular guy
I
got
mean, if
pulled
you
over
can't
and
be
got
on
a
your
ticket.
phone, you definitely can't do that, right? So depends on the state, I guess.
And this has gone so far with people repeating this that the Department of Transportation and the California Police have issued statements to the public basically saying like, hey, you cannot wear these things while you're driving. Like that is an absolute no-no.
What's interesting to me is like, I mean, in a lot of places, if not most places, you can't even like wear earbuds while you drive. And so it's like, what makes like, are these people just unaware? Do they not care?
No,
Is there like a common sense issue? Or are they just purposely pushing the limits? Yeah,
they don't care. It's content.
I think it starts that way. I think it starts as content, and then you have imitators that think it's funny.
Yeah,
that do it really stupidly.
Interesting. Certainly interesting.
I would like to tap the Vision Pro into Tesla's AI as it's driving. You ever see that stuff? It's freaking crazy, dude. Okay, that's the funny one. You've seen people just like on the subway and stuff like that? Like they're everywhere.
You're just asking to get robbed, by the way. $3,500? You can wear that?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
That's great. Yeah, that's a unhinged use case. I mean, I get trying to make the most out of spending time on the subway, but holy, questionable for sure.
But also, when you move too much, you know what? I'm calling this guy's bluff. There was nothing on his screen. You know why? Because when you move too much, it puts a notification on your screen that says can't get the tracking. You're moving too much. This guy was literally only making content. Wasn't even using it. Because you see, there's a Casey Neistat video where he's in the subway, and it's as soon as you start moving, your whole system, like your screen and your OS, just starts shifting away from you down the tunnel.
There's one video where this
I could try and find these two, by the way.
This guy he has it on. He's courtside at an NBA game, and it's like during like the pregame warm up, like the shoot around. And he is like pretending to dribble a basketball like through his legs and throw up Jace from his like courtside seat, as if he has like as if he's playing via AR. Yeah.
Do you see it in his screen, or is it just an outside shot?
It's just an outside shot of this guy looking like the biggest derb possible, dude. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the secondhand cringe was insane when I was watching it.
What I will say, I have a few things to say about this, but I think the pass-through is probably the best on Division as opposed to MetaQuest 3, definitely MetaQuest 2.
Index is pretty good.
What's up?
Index is pretty good for the pass-through.
You have pass-through on the Index?
Does it not?
I didn't think so.
When you say pass-through, what are you referring to?
Being able to see the world.
Yeah, of course it does.
But like, is it black and white? Is it blurry? Is it...
No.
Like what? Really?
Yeah, it's nice.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, Visions is absolutely insane. Not only that, the camera that people are recording with looks freaking high def looks really high def. So that's awesome for content creators. It's really cool.
If you look at the Apple's actual video of it, they show some of that too, because where's the FaceTime section?
Yeah, this might be this is fake though.
Yeah.
But like it's still it's not gonna you're gonna be able to it's gonna also be able to use like that AI technology eventually too to project your face and stuff.
It does already.
Be able to, so these conversations, it's gonna turn them into much more like face to face than
this pass through that they're showing in this video right now is not real. This is from a different camera. They're just fake posts. That's fine, and that's fine. It's an ad. But the real pass through looks really good. Like, which is crazy in these VR goggles. Abe, actually, while we're on this, can we look at the 3D model faces that you scan? You take the goggles off, you scan yourself, and then people can do FaceTime calls or whatever you want. The least of my worries is FaceTime calls. I want that model.
Search it on YouTube.
I want to be able to model people quickly, but I could also do it with the phone. But it rigs you off the rip.
That's nice.
You scan your face, it rigs you. So is there a way I could take that?
You just yoink the files for it?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I mean, there's MetaHuman, but you can't. This is a real scan of your face.
Right.
So this looks
videos of
awesome.
On YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah, go to that short. Go down to the short. One more. Keep going. Right there. That's one on the left, I believe. So that's obviously a person. Are we going to see the... Okay, so it's that might not be a person, actually. I don't know. I have no clue. Now I'm confused. All right, so they're scanning. Yup. So we're seeing all the dot matrix. This might be accurate. Yeah. Look at that, dude. How cool is that?
Pretty neat.
But like,
That's
it's
pretty
not.
crazy.
It's cool for like. It's cool just to be cool.
It's
but
novelty to an extent, and then it'll eventually have some meaningful use cases.
Can we extract it? Can we
Mhm.
I hear ya.
extract it? Can you buy
Well,
one of
this
these
is
and
like
send it to
Gen
me?
1, right? I mean, like think about the first iPad or iPod, right? And then what that eventually that turned into the iPhone and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I had a
Right.
Zune.
Excuse me?
I had a Zune.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
iPad Nano.
And
here,
why do
or
I have
iPod
to buy
Nano.
it for the testing? Why don't you buy
Because-
it? Just tell Trisha it's 2,500. We're good.
I thought
dude.
it was 2,500, dude.
That's-
And in this
that's
past
unlucky.
week, I was like, should I?
Mm-mm,
Should I not?
I wouldn't.
I ended up.
And it's right here.
Here's the live plugged review.
Don't tell Trish.
No. We'll see. Maybe I can get the company to write it off.
Oh man.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool feature that I'm interested in. I could care less about the screen and whatever. Like I'm barely on my MacBook. I'm on my PC, which has 4 monitors.
Right.
Which it took me long to get there. That's not a brag, and that's not thinking you should have 4 monitors either if you're trying to stream. I had 1 monitor for a long freaking time.
Yeah.
I'm
also
just saying.
four monitor Andy, but that's for 2 PCs. I got a lot going on, and I'm out of
Whoa.
space. I've been out of space, but I think 5 is just overkill.
Yeah. But I like it. I'm warming up to it. I won't buy it. It's just not. I can make better 3D models in Unreal on my computer right now, but man, if this
One
price
day, bro.
drops, which it won't.
The thing to me is, and this is like the number one negative review that I've seen from all the people that have tried it. It's
Mhm.
uncomfortable to wear. It's heavy.
Mhm.
Really? I figured it was going to be the most comfortable.
and that's people who tried both the top and the back strap, because there's like 2 different ways to like get it on your head.
I
keep it
can't do the
there.
top strap.
I don't know, man. And like they just say it's clunky. You're wearing a monitor on
That's a
your face.
shame.
Which
That's a
is a
shame.
shame, because that, to me, that's the difference in will I use it or will I not if I bought it. And if it feels bad to wear, I won't.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Also, though, you gotta admit, it is the sexiest VR
Yeah,
out
it's the
there right
nicest
now.
looking, no doubt.
It's
The
beautiful.
aesthetic matters. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I won't pretend it doesn't. Apple
You
knows
knew
what they're
matters
doing
to
on
that
that
these
would be
side.
the case with Apple. You knew Apple would
Mhm.
nail the aesthetic.
they-
They always do.
For sure. But the thing is like the minute that, there's a meaningful glasses or a meaningful contact,
Dude.
now we're talking.
Contact is where it's at.
I mean,
They
the
figured that
Ray-Ban,
out.
the Ray-Ban AR. I hope they're really developing that at light speed right now, because
That would
that'd
be
be
nice.
wild.
Yeah, man.
But I want clear. I don't want to wear like dark glasses. Just make them clear for me. But
There are
that's
some
exciting.
blue blockers in there too, man.
Or
I'm
blue
telling you.
blockers.
Yeah. rock that.
Abe, is there any more links that you wanted to pull up
That's
about
all
this?
I got on these. I could try and find some more stuff if you guys want anything.
Well,
in
I'm sure
particular.
we'll talk some more VR next week.
Yes, for sure.
Cool.
I think we have another thing about VR on topic.
We do.
we?
This
What we
is
got?
probably a quick hitter, but this is a really cool. Just in staying in this realm, it's a really cool look at some new tech that's coming out for VR. One of the biggest things of VR, right, is like free walking and things within those games and in those environments, because it's really hard to do. I've seen some people do mats and things like that to try
And that
and
Disney
capture
thing.
that. Yeah. But this is now a shoe that basically has like these roller contraptions on it that allow you to free move in your environment and still move in the game. And I'll play the video because it's really cool. When you
These
actually look
shoes
at it.
allow you to walk
You probably don't
freely
need
in
the sound.
Okay. All right. So he's on a plastic desk mat, basically, where you put your office chair on, and he's got these shoes, and they actually articulate at the middle of the shoe, so
Yep.
you can like bend in them,
Yep.
which is cool.
Mhm.
And here's the thing: he's taking steps forward and slightly rotating clockwise and counterclockwise, but it looks to me like you can only go forward, and if you want to turn, you have to like turn your foot. Not necessarily like you can't do a sweeping motion. You have to
Did you
angle
see
your
that
foot.
though? Because
What?
I get what you're saying, but it just
Yeah.
showed him in that first FPS scene where he crouches and turns.
Show me again.
Maybe that's just his headset leaning, right? Which
You
is
see that
possible.
right there? I'll go back a little
Because
bit.
the cam is going to change as you move your head.
Correct.
Right? And so like that is
You can
fine.
tell what. Whoa, what is that? Wait, dude, how does that happen? So, all right. So imagine there's
Pause
tank
it.
treads on the bottom of your shoe. What we're looking at right now is the tank treads are shifting clockwise about 15 degrees while the top of the shoe stays still. What engages that?
I don't know.
It
dude.
looks like it's
Magic.
a sensor built in, based off of the caption. It's a sensor built in the shoe that detects your movement and direction.
Maybe the pressure of the left shoe, if it feels like you're making a right turn, it'll shift the right shoe right treads.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Man, I should be VR guy, dude. I'm nice with it. I just cracked the code.
Yeah.
Detect your movement and
How did we get sound again?
Slummy shoes
That's
coming
cool.
soon. Yeah, it's funny because like this is a massive, just like I said, like the weight of the headset really matters. So does the movement. The movement is actually so crucial. And there's basically games go about movement in two ways without feet, right? And you have a play space. So if you're walking, you can stay within your play space and move freely, right? What is interesting is like when you have a large scale game where you have to traverse something larger than your environment, your real environment, you have two options. You have teleport, right? Which basically projects a little circle out onto the ground and you hit the button and boom, you're there, right? Your character in game is there and you can teleport all over the place. You don't even have to move. You can just stand in one place in your room and do whatever. The other is something called smooth motion. And that is basically like hitting, forwards on the D-pad or W on your keyboard, and your character smoothly glides forward, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That particular motion instantaneously makes me sick in every single game that I've ever tried it in. It's very jarring because your body is not moving, but your vision is. And it absolutely makes me nauseous instantaneously. It's very brutal, super jarring for me. I can do teleport, but there's a lot of games that don't have teleport.
I thought it was the opposite actually when we talked about it back in the day.
That a lot of games have teleport or teleport.
No,
makes you
that
sick?
you what? Yes, what made which one made you
teleport's
sick? Okay.
So I used a teleport for Half-Life Alyx exclusively, and then someone told me, "Hey, try the smooth motion." And I did. It took me like 1/8 of a second to be so nauseous, literally made me shut down my stream, and I was sick for like 2 more hours. And I experienced it for like 30 seconds total. It was that bad.
Do you have issues with motion sickness in general? Like, do you do well on boats or?
I can do a boat unless there's crazy chop, then I get sick. But I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
And I cannot read in the car.
Okay.
But
So
other
that is
than
a
that,
usual motion sickness issue.
Yeah, it's specific instances. I do roller coasters, no problem. Stuff like that doesn't bother me.
How about running?
So my point is that this motion is really important to be able to introduce a way that links what you're seeing with what your body is doing in a way that isn't restrictive to your play space is like a fundamental piece of problem solving for the VR world. And I can't wait to see something like this more fleshed out and super usable. Because I've tried tech like this before, actually, in a convention floor. I basically got strapped up in a diaper that hoists you off the ground. It's a harness. You know what I mean? And it hoists you off the ground, and they put these like glidey shoes on you.
Yeah.
And then it's like a little, it's a bowl, right? It's not a super steep, but there's like a bowl. And so there's edges, and you just glide inside the bowl while being like, Cirque du Soleil up into the middle, right? And it is incredibly uncomfortable, and it's incredibly expensive.
And it's not
And also,
accurate.
what are you going to put that in your living room? I
And
can't
it doesn't
even
feel good. Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't feel like
the
walking
experience doesn't
because
feel right.
and you have to step a little bit higher
Yep.
and you coast it down the arc.
And if you don't do the right motion, it doesn't work. So there's a lot of factors there that made me think, yeah, this probably isn't the solution, but have a nice day. Thank you for letting me try it.
So it's either VR shoes or a gigantic warehouse, or I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the case. I don't know. Like,
so you think you'd be all right in a big warehouse where you could just run free?
Sure, no problem.
Okay,
no problem. And I mean, listen, they make those, and you go and you spend the day and you rent it and you pay. You know what I mean? I get it. I think it's a cool way to experience VR, honestly, and I recommend it for a lot of people. If you just want to like see what it's like, there's no reason not to experience the tech. You don't have to pay a ton of money to buy in and then be stuck with something that you're not going to use in your house. So
it would be cool. So you know how you work? Companies take team trips to team build, and like they cross bridges and climb trees and whatever. What if there's a warehouse where you and a couple friends, you start at the middle and the whole, I think my camera just died.
No, you're good.
No, I still see.
Oh, all right. Well,
now it's gone.
Now it died.
There that goes. You're going to have to carry this one. Sorry about that. When you go to the warehouse, you have this whole like obstacle course, and obviously you can go to a real obstacle course, but you get your avatar, you're with your gang, and it's all charted out, and it can keep changing too. When you reach the next one, you load a new level. That would be cool.
It is cool.
That'd be really cool.
I think for like widespread adoption of VR technology, though, you need something like these shoes. Because like I said too, like even that thing you use at the convention center, like I barely get to pick what goes on the walls in my house. If I tried to pitch to my wife that I was going to put a friggin' diaper dome so I could play a VR game, like there's no shot. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah, it is important. And again, I think like comfortable headsets, a workable solution for movement, and then some sort of haptic feedback. Those are like the three big ones for me that I think are life changing. And I think an audio experience that feels natural is really important, and that's something that the Index nails really well. I'm so impressed with the audio for the Index, and I know there's like a lot of other ones that have a lot of great selling points that just don't do the audio as well. So I don't know. I think I hope that continued development doesn't continue to like overlook that as part of the experience, because I think the audio is, for me at least, really important.
I think the Index was the best console plug-in VR. They had the Knuckles. The developers that I followed in VR that were making the crazy stuff made it specifically for the Index Knuckles. I think they're called the Knuckles. I don't know.
That's correct.
Because they were like the most accurate and had the best. Yeah, dude. So I think the Index was definitely number one for the big, the console or the PC VRs.
Yeah, it's cool to have like individual articulation of your fingers. Or like half bends and stuff like that based on the pressure on the controller. Yeah, really nice.
So, man, I hate to do this because we got such good topics, but do you think we should push them to next week since my freaking camera died? Sorry about you viewers out there, but for the listeners, they're getting the nice audio. But what do you think? You think we should wrap?
Yeah, that's probably fine. We'll get it sorted, and we'll push some of this stuff to next week. That sounds good to me.
All right. Next week we are going to have a banging episode. Just letting you guys know that. Markstrom, what's going on, dude? You got anything exciting coming up? What's going on?
Back in action on the extraction shooters. Been hitting the Tarky all week, and I've been having a really good time actually. First time in over 3 years that I've been playing the game consistently and checking things out. And obviously it's a fun time when I'm jumping in with friends and whatnot, but I got some cool things planned that I'm really excited for content for Tarkov coming out soon. So keep your eyes peeled for the live stream, twitch.tv/Markstrom, and also some full-length feature YouTube content at youtube.com/MarkstromTV. Other than that, chilling, enjoying dad life, and hanging out with my baby. That's what I'm up to.
Let's go, dude. Abe, how about you, dude?
As usual, moderating the channel over at Twitch. I will say that with the return to extraction shooters comes the return of extraction shooter chat, which makes the moderation job.
So you're busy.
infinitely more difficult. There's a lot of I'll tell you what, guys, everyone listening that's a fan of Markstrom, it's really great when you tell him how to play the game when he's playing Tarkov. That really makes for a dynamic and fun experience for everybody. But I digress. I will be there moderating the chat as usual. Looking forward to maybe hopping into some Season of Discovery in World of Warcraft too, because that new season's coming out soon too. Rejoining the marksman on that, but that's pretty much what I got going on myself. Oh, also one more thing, like no free ads.
Jesus,
the Raven roast is delicious, folks. I can't talk enough about it. It is so damn good. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. It's very, very good coffee, and I love coffee. So
True,
and it supports Markstrom, and it supports us, and it supports creators.
True.
Besides that, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet since my battery died. But for you listeners out there, all I'm going to ask you is to subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Share it with your people. Get your mom to watch. Get your brother to watch. Whoever you want to watch, get them to watch. And then the biggest thing I want you to do for now, this is the short ask. The short ask is I want you guys to tune in next week because we are working on a special guest and he could kick off. Oh, I already gave away it to he. And he could kick off some really special guests. So show up next week for us because we do this every week, almost every week, unless Markstrom has a baby or Abe has a vacation. And so until next time, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.